Hi, I'm Lacey. I'm an assistant professor at Harper College for the sonography programs, and today I'm going to tell you about my experience piloting high flex in our ultrasound programs. Why? Because if we can have telemedicine, why not telemedicine education? Our objectives for today: demonstrate how high flex can be incorporated into a skills-based course in a health careers field. Outline the importance of content delivery to ensure success of flexible learning. And finally, discuss the benefits that students experience in offering health careers courses in a flexible modality. The mission to create change started because we noticed a pattern of stress and anxiety in our students. Many health career fields have a rigorous curriculum. Students log on average 10 or more hours for a 2-credit-hour course in our lab. Now add in a full course load. Students average 30 or more hours per week studying and practicing lab activities. Student perceived stress is high, morale and confidence is low. Then let's add in students that have extracurricular responsibilities, kids, sports, family, jobs. These all created an unhealthy school life balance. The program was not meeting all students where they needed, and our retention rates reflected this. The inspiration to create change came from a friend of mine who created and launched a tablet-based radiology residency program in Haiti. Here is a picture of the first group of residents with all of their tablets. Now, the idea wasn't entirely original. As a matter of fact, a large organization was already attempting to do something similar. But where they failed was by not addressing the challenges of the residents. To load just one CAT scan would take all of the internet data that was allowed to them for the month. This one limitation alone prevented the residents from being able to participate in the resources available. Now, my friend, by listening to their challenges, took these tablets, uploaded all of the program materials that was needed, and created virtual meetings that allowed for synchronous learning. This program is still being used in other countries now, and it's a successful program. And so I thought, why can't we take this same concept and bring it to our program? Now, as you know, change isn't easy. Luckily, I had a pandemic on my side. So COVID forced our program online, and I used this as an opportunity to see if the concept would work for us as well. A few things that I have learned since the beginning. First, collaborate with your Faculty Development Center. Their guidance and resources have been vital to the success of this. They may not know my specialty specifically, but when we work together, we can come up with some really cool options, and they can then take those options and apply it to other programs. Next, make it easy for the students to follow. The easier it is for the students to use, the more likely they're going to use it, and they're going to use all of the resources that you've given to them. How do you get started? Think inside and outside the box. Take those activities that you've already been doing with your students and start there. It's an easy way to move into the process of bringing your courses into a more virtual world. And finally, ask the students for help. They're the ones using it. If they have a problem, they would love to share it with you. And so when you take those problems and you adapt it right in the middle of the process, in the middle of the course, then they can tell you what's working and what's not working so that you can finish the semester strong, and they really feel as though you care about their user experience. Welcome to our sonography lab. Let me take you on a quick tour of one of our activities. This here is Miss Bones, and Miss Bones is having a baby, so we're going to scan her in our lab. The first thing that we'll do is set up a tripod. This tripod will hold a cell phone that is pointed at her abdomen, and this will allow those watching from the back of the room or watching from home the ability to see where the hand is being placed as the images are being obtained. Now, the student who is scanning Miss Bones can see this 9-week fetus and the tiny details, but those at the back of the room can't appreciate these tiny details. So we connected the ultrasound machine up to our smart podium using the appropriate cables for each. This allows us to then project the image up onto the big screen at the front of our room. Now those at the back of the class can see the level of detail that the scanner can see. Now from here, we share this screen using WebEx and we record it. This allows synchronous and asynchronous viewing for our students from home. But you can use any type of a meeting platform that also allows recording. Now in the future, we'll be adding a third camera, and this third camera will be pointing down at this keyboard here to allow students to be able to see which buttons are being pressed at what times in order to obtain and optimize the images of the study. Now this type of an exam can be used for numerous modalities, so get creative and give it a try. Now here is the view from home. So the student who is at home can see multiple screens. Now you can set this up in various ways. We've got one cell phone that is actually pointed here. This was actually not a cell phone, but a camera that was pointed at the screen. And then here we have a third camera. So if I had set up another cell phone, I could have had this pointing down at that keyboard panel of the machine. Here's another view. Because we're still new at this, we've been trying out some different formats to see what works best for us. So for this one, we had the ultrasound machine connected directly up to the smart podium, so it gave us a really crisp image of that baby. And then we had a cell phone pointing down on the mom's belly, and then we had another camera that was looking at the classroom so that we could also lecture, and any drawings, I could zoom the camera up onto the board at the front of the class so that I could do any drawings or anything like that. But here, depending on the activity that you're doing, this could be set up with cell phones, tablets, and laptops. So really, you can get very creative as long as everything is able to get onto WebEx or whatever your meeting recording platform is. Let me quickly show you how I set up my course materials in our learning management system. This is a template that was created by our Faculty Development Center that we have used. Per student feedback, having materials easy to access and follow is pivotal to alleviating stress and anxiety for those students. So here you will see I have all of the weeks lined out for the entire semester. We start off with an intro video from me that kind of explains what this course is all about and what HighFlex really means. Now I'd like to jump down here and open up this tab, this Week 10 tab. You'll see it begins with an overview of that week. All of the materials that the student will need for this week is housed in the one tab for that week, so there's no jumping around that they need to do. In this module overview, you can see what our topic is for the week, what activities they'll need to do, any important due dates, their HighFlex session information, and an outlook to anything that might be coming up, a project, a test, anything like that. Now, when they jump over to the activities, they have any videos or lecture material that they need to review before they see me for their flexible learning session. And any lectures that they need to listen to, I put down how long those lectures are so that they know exactly how much time they need to carve out in order to dedicate their thoughts to that one lecture. Now let me bounce over to the HighFlex session. Everything for the HighFlex session is located in that one tab. Again, still all housed in the 1 week. So this was our session 4. Here you can see that this is the link for those who are watching synchronously from home. They can jump into that lecture. If they want to come in live, they know the day, the time, and the room number. If you're watching asynchronously, then here is where you'll find the recorded session. So after we've finished with the WebEx meeting, it comes to my email and I can post that video here for everybody to review. Now, we also use a picture archiving system, and so all of those images are located here so that the student can review the images alone without the actual video. They find the worksheet that they need to complete their assignment while they're either doing this in class, synchronously or asynchronously, and then right here they also have the tab to submit that assignment. And now, because this was a pilot study, we were tracking attendance. And so, again, right here in this same shell is where they would track their attendance for the course. Now, I've received numerous compliments about this layout and how easy it is for the students to follow. This was a template that our Faculty Development Center had created for us to use, but I love it. And ever since I started it, I've now put this into every single one of my classes because it's not only easy for the students, but I get less emails, so it's also easier for me. All right, thank you. So with everything we've so far discussed, what do the students think?
Hi, my name is Kelly. I am a current student in the OBGYN sonography theory. We used HiFlex this semester, and this is just a quick testimonial as to how it worked for me and what the benefits were for me. A little background on who I am. I am a returning student after having a prior career. So I have a family and I have 3 children. So for me, the HiFlex gave me a lot of flexibility in how I was able to attend. We had 3 choices in our attendance. We could do it in person. We could in person at the school. We could join in person on video. Live, and then we also could watch it recorded later. And for a person that has other commitments outside of school, like work or children or family, it was really beneficial to be able to tailor those classes to what I needed on a week-to-week basis. Professor Gander gave us the option of attending whatever way we would like each time there was a HiFlex session. So for me, I did 2 in person. I did one where I watched it after the fact. And I also did one where I was in video in live. So I was at home and watching it live. And that's the one I really want to talk about, because without that option, I would have missed that class that day. I had a sick child, and it allowed for me to be home with him while he was sleeping, but still not miss an opportunity for a live hands-on environment where I could see that anatomy scan that we were doing that day. So for us in that class, we scanned people that were pregnant, and that is a complex skill to learn for sonography. I think you can study the textbooks and you can see what the anatomy is that you're looking for, but without actually getting your hands on a patient or seeing it scanned live, it's very hard to connect as to where you need to go on the mother's belly in order to see the baby the best. So having a HiFlex session that I could be at home and watch live really allowed for me to interact still with the class and actually see what that sonographer who was scanning was actually doing externally on the mother's abdomen. And then also, though, having the option of watching and recording later, even not at the time of the live presentation, allowed for me to schedule it around my family's schedule and watch it late at night if I needed to when my kids were asleep. So for me, I believe the HiFlex is a huge benefit. And honestly, without it, I would have really struggled in that class this semester. So in recommendation for any student that might be looking into a class with a HiFlex, I would highly recommend it. It gave me the opportunity to really tailor my education to what my family needs or what my personal needs were, and not miss a beat in regards to any kind of lab activity or anything else. So that's really it. I think it's a wonderful opportunity that Harper allowed for me to be part of, and I would highly recommend it for any future student. Even if you plan on going to every single one, it's neat to have your team be there on video behind you and still present, even though they may not physically be present. Thank you.
So since starting flexible learning, students have been less stressed. They like to have the recorded materials that can be revisited when preparing for an exam. And for my courses in particular, a majority of my students like to complete their material asynchronously because they can put it into the middle of their lunch break or whenever their family needs allow them to visit the material. So in conclusion, when thinking about meeting your course objectives, remember the following. Education is not one size fits all, because life isn't one size fits all. To ensure that all students have the same opportunities for success, regardless of their extracurricular activities, we must look beyond the traditional learning environments. It is a challenge to get started, but when you collaborate with your colleagues, you can create some really excellent resources. And finally, remember who this is all for. All the hard work pays off when you see a student who never had the ability to succeed graduate and provide a better life for themselves and their family. Thank you.